name is Beck, and I'll be your conference operator today. At this time, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Noble Composer conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. If you should need assistance at all during the call, just press *0 and an operator will come on the line to assist you. Thank you. Mr. McMillan, you may begin your conference.
Thank you very much. This afternoon we're going to be reviewing the top reasons why companies choose the Noble Composer for Agent Desktop Solutions. I'd like to start out by welcoming everyone on the phone with us this afternoon. I am Chris McMillan, VP of National Accounts with Noble Systems. I was formerly with TouchStar Software as the Director of Sales for approximately 7 years. I'm also joined by Greg Bordeman, who's Senior Solutions Engineer with Noble Systems. He's been with Noble for approximately 12 years and was formerly the Director of Software Development. A little background with the Noble Desktop Composer. We have received multiple awards ranging from Frost & Sullivan to the ATA to the Product of the Year to the Collection Technology Excellence Award. Today there is a tremendous pressure on agents to be more productive. Agents are asked to access and utilize multiple applications, including third-party software, mainframe databases, and the web. Noble Composer can help you unify the agent desktop to improve first call resolution. The background to Composer is long and varied. Predecessors included DCB, DCB for Windows, and OCX. The original goals surrounding Composer were to be easy to customize for the desktop and to allow database write back easily. Development started in 2005. To date, there are 15,000 plus hours of development time involved in Composer and 135,000 plus lines of code. The current version is version 8. The top reasons for choosing Composer are listed within this picture. I will start from the top and go around clockwise. There is easy customization, mainframe emulation, real-time updates, client options, workflow optimization, and third-party software integration. Now let's take a closer look at Composer.
The first piece we want to talk about is the ease of use or easy to integrate other applications. The ability to draw the main screen, the ability to link desktop applications, the ability to link back to database, etc. The screenshot you see here is a picture of the Composer builder. As you can tell, or as you can see, in the center of the screen is just a blank form. So if you're used to any kind of tool like Visio or any tool where you would build a screen or kind of form layout, it's very similar to that. Basically, you have a window or blank form in the center and a series of objects shown on the left side, and as you add objects to the main form, you'll see the properties show up for each one of those objects on the right. You have the ability inside of Composer to change things like fonts, colors, even down to the location of where you may want to write back information to database structures or where you're going to read that information. The second piece of this is the integration to third-party applications. This screen shows a sample of a collections type of application that you may build with the Composer Agent desktop utility. You can build any kind of screen you like. This is just a sample. You can create different forms. You can see with this, you have the ability to use things such as tab views. You have the different pieces of components on the top left, like debtor information, payment history, and account contacts, things like that, where you can read that directly from your database. You can, again, have different sections of the form where as you're clicking through the fields, different information may show up. You can see we're able to change fonts and colors to make that more meaningful to your agents so they can see what's going on, pick out the information very easily. All the tools inside of Composer allow you to integrate other applications very easily as well with a very few clicks of the button when you're in the Builder component. As an example, you have the ability to do things like credit card payment options straight from Composer Desktop. allow your agents to go ahead and take credit card payments from the desktop. You get an immediate approval or decline from this. You can see the form's already built for you. You don't have to do anything special except invoke that in the builder side. You can set up with your own merchant accounts. There can be various merchant accounts that you use. It doesn't have to be limited to one. You may choose to have different merchant accounts based on dollar amount, based on type of credit card being used, whatever you want to do with that. This does allow you to take the credit card number as well as the CCV code, and it can be secure as well. You also have the ability to bring in other executables from the desktop. Now, a simple example of that is just launching the calculator for your agents from a single button click inside the desktop. But it can very well be your own application, third-party collection application. Maybe you want to go to a separate web page. It doesn't really matter. Any of these applications can be launched directly from Composer. The next piece is the ability to do mainframe emulation. A lot of the systems that we see today are using third-party applications based on a mainframe or AS400 system. They may utilize different emulation session types like VT100, 5250, or 3270 emulation types. What this component allows you to do inside of Composer, this is actually our Mimic module. What it allows you to do is actually generate screenshots of those mainframe applications, and then from that generate variables from those mainframe screens. It allows you to push and pull information to and from those sessions as you're working. The power of this is that now you have a unified desktop. It's one place for your agents to look to and work from. They're not having to alt-tab the different screens. They're not having to come in and out of different sessions by logging in and out. It's all available from a single desktop. You can see from this screen that I can simply highlight different fields, and those actually become variables. This is where I can use this tool to actually say I want to read this information from that mainframe session, from those screens, or where I want to push information back to. Now, I can use that to update other databases. I can use that to navigate through my tools. I can use that to query my different screens and pull the information as needed. I can also use the variables inside these session screens to populate the, we'll call them standard Composer screens. So just like that first collection screen we looked at that's built inside a Composer, I may have this mimic or this emulation behind the scene reading these fields and then populating those standard forms. It gives you a single unified point of contact, again, for your agents, so they're not having to go between different screens. It'll minimize the training time that you have for them because you're only teaching them the quote-unquote Composer screens, not necessarily having to learn those mainframe screens as well. The next piece of this is the real-time updates to the various systems. This screen is an example of what you can do with the Composer tool. You can take in variable amounts in that promised amount field, for instance. You can take in that promised amount, and you can have that write back to a third-party database, a separate database from what's inside of Noble Systems. You can use that in maybe SQL Server, and maybe MySQL, and the web-based version. You also have access to a couple others as well. But it allows you to write directly back to the database. Now, the nice thing about that is you no longer have to use imports and exports for everything. You may import your master file for calling and export system coded calls. So if you're using Composer to update your database directly, you don't necessarily have to do that export for all your results throughout the day. Another point of the screen is you can actually see where you can actually use this to drive the work, to allow you to do some back-end kind of functions, create summary letters, initiate an email, create your callbacks, whatever you want to do with the system. One of the nice things about a Composer is the ability to drive the work to your agents versus having them hunt and peck through screens. As an example of that, we can see a screen here where, based on the information gathered from your desktop, you may go to a completely different screen. So you have the ability to use radio buttons, check boxes. Of course, you have the fields where you just enter any information you like, and you can inspect that data and determine what's the best path for your agents, whether it's go to a different screen, whether it's put a message on the form, whatever you want to do. So if I were to select a different vacation type from this screen, I can absolutely show that on the next screen. As soon as I select that, I can display a completely different screen, give a picture and description about that vacation type, if you will, just to give information to your agents so they're better able and better equipped to talk to their customers. The desktop fully drives what your agents are doing. They don't have to go down and look for a button on the side of the screen or on the toolbar. Based on the information they've collected or entered onto the screen, you can drive them down the correct path. It's also nice for on the connect of a call, or you can also do a lookup into the database and display information. Maybe there's an alert you need to give to your agents, past due amount, last time we've talked to them, the last thing they've purchased from you, whatever it may be. But all of those options are available to you with Composer because it is fully capable of reading databases and writing back to databases on the fly. So on that connect event of the call, as soon as the call is passed to the agent, you can see very, very quickly inside the database what you need to display to your agents to help them in their call. The next piece of the puzzle is the ability to create a web agent. Traditionally, Composer over the last few years has been a client-server-based application with a small executable stored on the desktop. All the screens are still stored in the application server. The only thing on their desktop is an executable, and then the screens are cached. With the web agent, it was become available towards the end of last year, more widely available this year. You now have the ability to store and serve up those screens directly from an IIS server, so a web agent. So remote agents, different offices, work from home, whatever it may be, same information is passed to those agents as long as they have a dedicated connection, whether it's a VPN or whatever it may be, back into the system to get the data. They have all this information stored and the ability to update back and forth very quickly. Same functionality between the client-server-based application and the web agent. It's just a little bit look and feel difference, just the way it's presented on the screen, and it's just an extra server for the IIS server. But again, it's very popular with our customers that are using remote agents or work from home agents. It's very quick to deploy and to get into production as well.
I failed to mention at the start of our online webinar that you're free to ask questions by simply clicking on the Q&A button and submitting your question. Greg and I will do our best to get through all questions. In summary, Composer makes agents more productive. It simplifies complex activities, speeds up transactions, improves end-user satisfaction levels, and first-call resolutions. It updates other enterprise systems in real time, and agents are happy to use it. It's a very easy tool. The award-winning Noble Composer makes agents more productive by unifying the desktop, updating third-party applications in real time, and allowing the agent to work more efficiently within complex environments. At this time, we're going to open it up to the question and answer session.
We have a few questions that have come in here. The first one, does Noble Composer allow agents to see inbound calls? Absolutely. There's a notification to the desktop, whether it's an inbound or outbound call. As the person who defines or builds those scripts, you have the ability to completely change the way those screens look. So you can have a different look and feel for your different campaigns. Now, whether it's an inbound call or outbound call, maybe if you're in a service bureau type of environment or have different customers you're working with, you can put a different picture on the form. You can put a text notification. You can change colors, whatever you want it to do. Again, keep in mind that Composer is a tool that allows you to build any screens you want based on the campaigns and functionality that you need. So it's very easy to do.
So does that mean if I'm a service bureau and I have multiple customers, I can speak intelligently to each of the inbound DNIS that we're servicing?
Absolutely. You can absolutely route and display information based on DNIS, based on any kind of lookup that you want to perform on Connect to the Call to display customer history, for instance. You can certainly do that as well. It really gives you complete control of what you want to display and give all the information you like to your agents to do their job.
And then they can have logical branching within that screen?
Sure, and that can be based on, again, a radio button, a checkbox, data entered into the screen by the customer or by the agents, whatever you want to do. I have a question that came in. Our agents receive lots of callbacks from customers. Can the agent use the update function to change the status of a call? You don't really use the update function to change the status of the call if you mean the state that it calls in. That's really handled by the scheduler piece behind the scenes. Now, by changing the status of the call, like you just talked to them, they've made a payment in the collection world, maybe they purchased a new product, they're following up or with customer service, whatever it may be. Certainly you can do all of that as part of Composer. The nice thing as well, as far as callbacks are concerned, is you actually have callback notification if there's agent-specific callbacks. They'll actually have a little window they can keep open, shows all their callbacks scheduled for them up to an hour before the callbacks are scheduled to take place. And you can still change phone numbers. They can change, at that screen, they can tell whether they want to go ahead and dial that phone number right away, reschedule for another date and time, cancel it, or just let it come in as scheduled. Does Composer have the ability to dial international numbers? Certainly, and that's not really based on Composer. That's the core components of the Noble software, allows you to dial internationally as well as domestically. You can also do that as a single campaign as well. You can decide it on the fly if you like. Is there a notification feature that is part of the Composer screen? There are several different ways to make notifications in Composer. Again, you can put an alert field up on the screen which actually stays hidden unless a value is met as part of that alert. So it can say past due over 30 days, a dollar amount higher than this, last donation date was so-and-so, whatever you want it to do. You can actually do an agent notification if an agent's been in a state longer than expected. Those 5 agent states connected, paused, waiting for call, after call work, and deassigned. So, for instance, if an agent's been in pause or after call work longer than you would expect or would want them to be, you can actually send an alert inside a Composer that will make the entire agent desktop start blinking. So that not only gives a nod to the agent to keep moving, but also as your managers are walking the floor, it will also allow them to see that there's someone who's been in a state longer than you would like them to be in. The question, what percentage of your current customers are on Composer versus the old version? That's a very good question. For the last 3 to 4 years, all of our new customers have gone to Composer. The conversion rate is probably somewhere between 35 and 60% of those customers that are running DCB to Composer. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of those customers that are running DCB, and that stands for Dynamic Campaign Builder, are just, quite frankly, comfortable with where they are. They don't like change. There's no need to move forward with it, and we're happy to support that as well. Some of our customers that have changed want things like the ability to write back to a database outside the native database inside of Composer. They want the ability to hide things like credit card numbers once they've been captured to display on the screen. They want the ability to integrate third-party applications very easily. So there's various reasons to migrate. And we do have a lot of customers still today still going through that migration and moving forward with Composer. And quite frankly, all of our latest and greatest toolkits are going to be developed inside of Composer. So it's just something to keep in mind as you move forward. Does Noble Composer have a way to allow for internal and external transfers? Absolutely. With Composer, you have the ability to transfer to a different agent, and you can see what all the other agents are doing, so you make that decision intelligently who's available to take your call. You can transfer from one group to another, so a sales versus confirmation group if you want to do that. You can transfer externally if you're doing third-party verification, and you can set up that external verification where the agents don't have to enter a phone number. They simply click on the description of the transfer they want to use. And you also have one last one, and that's called an internal transfer, extension transfer, which is to a PBX extension that's not associated to the dialer. So if somebody calls in through the call center, but they need to get to, say, accounts payable that's not associated to the solution, you can still do that transfer.
And with the internal transfers, does the screen move from department to department so that we don't have to look up the account number again?
Sure, it is data and voice transfer. So if you go from, let's say, sales to verification group, it will absolutely push the data with it, so they'll get the same information that the initial agent had as well. We just had a question, is Noble software PCI compliant? Does Composer have the capability to encrypt credit card information? There is a PCI compliance version or module of Composer that is available. If you're interested in that, you can certainly talk to your sales representative. That does include encryption. We do data encryption at rest. So anytime you've gathered the information that is encrypted on the system, with the PCI compliance when you take credit card information, it basically creates a token because we cannot, for PCI compliance rules, we cannot store those credit card information, so you basically store the token for that. Another question, does the agent have the ability from the agent desktop to start and stop the recording? Traditionally, the recording is set up from the desktop at the builder side. Most of the customers choose to say, I want to record the entire call, I only want to record the verification or the promise, whatever it may be, and that's set up in the builder side. You can, if you choose to, put that start and stop button on the toolbar for your agents. You want to be cognizant there could be the ability for the agents to stop recording when they just don't want to be recorded, but you absolutely can do that if you choose to.
Here's another one. Are you seeing collections environments move away from traditional collections software at the agent level so that they're using Composer in lieu of the collections environment software?
We're actually seeing a lot of that, and that's a good question. Because Composer does allow you to generate forms any way you'd like to, we are seeing, and also has the ability to write back to that to your own database. We're seeing a lot of our customers simplify their collection screens, if you will. So they're not having to jump around between 4 and 5 screens. There's probably 80% of the information that an agent may need or a collector may need to do their job can be displayed in a single screen. So we're seeing a lot of our customers using that tool to do that and to do their collections as well. It's also very popular with our customers who are doing third-party collections where they have multiple systems they're integrating with, because now they can create one set of screens for their collectors. So they're not having to learn all these different systems because we can read and write natively back to those databases. We can do the emulation through the Mimic module. You can simplify or unify all those tools to use in one place, or one set of screens rather. Question, who should be trained on Composer? As far as the builder side of that, we typically recommend kind of a good mix of people. You want somebody who obviously knows your business rules, how you're going to do the collection. You most likely would like to have somebody from the IT side who understands the data flow because that's such a large component of collections as well, or the system as well. And you also want maybe one of your power users who's used to using the software so you can maintain that ease of use and provide a better path for your agents to work through. One last question, does Composer work in a blended environment? Absolutely. Composer is set up to take inbound calls as well as place outbound calls. There's actually a module called the contact management or debtor contact management system that can take those manual agents and put them on the system as well. And that basically creates a queue for your agents to work through their own queue. This was developed because we have a lot of customers who have those agents who are working manually and they have no way to track the results. So by using the contact management module, they're able to take all those agents and get them on the system and track all the results and all their dial attempts through the standard report. So it's a very powerful tool. And, of course, all of these can be blended together, so inbound, outbound, and the grid of the contact management as well.
One last question. What kind of reporting capabilities are there for the data that is captured within Composer?
There are 23 standard reports inside Maestro today, and that goes through and that looks at all the transactional information captured in the system. We are very open with the data, as most of you are aware, so you can get the data dictionary if you like. All the information you choose to capture is stored in custom tables that you can define and build in the system. And that is available whether it's through the Informix screens built into the system, whether you want to use any kind of OWC compliant tools such as Excel, such as Access. You can pull it into SQL Server if you like. There's various ways to pull that information out and report on it, including CRISPR reports.
And you can also do video recording as well of the agent screen. Is that right, Greg?
Right. As part of the digital recording component of Composer, we now offer screen capture as well as audio recording. And that, again, can be a subset of your audio recording license. So if you only want to use the screen capture for training purposes, you may only want a few screen capture licenses versus covering all your agents for the audio recording. And that's all still managed through the same playback utility you find inside of Maestro.
Okay, I think that wraps up the questions that we have for today. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. If you have any further questions, feel free to follow up with your sales representative. Thank you again for joining us.
This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.